I don't know. Bro, Vaughn is Vaughn. I ain't gonna lie.
You can't compare Lil Jeff to Vaughn, because Vaughn was doing like shit that the trenches look up to, like coming back and giving back to the trenches and shit. Lil Jeff
Jeff ain't had the
shit.
Yeah, but Jeff ain't had the bread for all that. Like he ain't never got to that point yet. You gotta understand.
That's why you can't compare him to Vaughn.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Fans of the genre, a combination of personal charisma and a reputation that they really live the life.
Yo, Lack, thank you for the prime.
What they most often rapped about was some of the most violent stories.
Oh yeah, Lack, for real? That was him? I do remember that.
America. In a 3.5-hour video about King Von, it dawned on me that having allegedly killed at least 7 people, beating the bodies, and then going on to brag about it to the whole world while actively...
Bro, is there no police in Chicago or something? I'm not posting it.
The FBI's definition of a serial killer. And unfortunately,
how do niggas be coming up 8 murders with no imprisonment?
Von, but also rapped
Dude, that
about
shit not be
it,
crazy to y'all?
modeled his persona on other famous serial killers. I'm of course talking about Bloodhound Lil Jeff, the self-styled Jeffrey Dahmer of Chicago drill. And to many, the next rapper who was on their way to becoming the next big thing in the drill scene with his wild claims that he had 10 to 11 bodies under his
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know you heard that shit they say I did, but I did worse. 1, 2, 3. What is this little troop shit? Is that like a military?
That's a hard hat. Fuck you talking about, nigga.
So
did it.
Nigga said a hard hat. Okay. This is what? Vice Lord, right?
Nigga said Vice Lord.
I'm assuming.
Nigga, that's a top hat. Fuck you. That's another hat. Fuck is you talking about?
Oh my god.
That's another hat.
So what is this? This a king hat?
Probably. I ain't gonna lie. That next one probably a bitch.
Yeah, this one seems like a female. Yeah. What is this? An ambulance worker?
The last two is them niggas leaving school though.
Nah, we all know about the last two. I've heard about that one. That story is crazy. But what about this right here? What is this? An ambulance? Don't tell me niggas is clapping the ambulance. Yo, he shot a doctor? Oh my god. Yo, niggas is farming hats. This is farming hats in real time, chat. This is real life farming, bro.
His belt, rapping jaw-dropping bars, comparing his life to video game Call of Duty.
This shit like Call of Duty, I'm really up 10 kills.
To comparing himself to basketball legend Bill Russell and inferring that he'd committed as many murders as Russell has won championship rings. Before I tell you any more about the Lil Jeff story, I need to give you a very important content warning. This video is going to contain themes of...
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yo, Flex, you see what somebody said?
What happened?
Somebody said the little doctor one was the nigga who died at the hospital.
So you saying like a nigga died after getting shot? Like
yeah, like he went to the hospital.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that deep. Bro.
I don't know. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Nobody knows. Prado, thank you for the fucking sub. Exclamation point sub. How to subscribe to the stream.
Violence, death, explicit language, and gang activity. But every effort has been made to censor this video in accordance with YouTube's advertiser and community guidelines.
I'm gonna get some, mama.
Will feature absolutely no swearing, no violence, no drug use, and no firearms. So anyone from YouTube reviewing this video, please do not demonetize it. And it's really important for me to explain to you the purpose of this video is to provide an educational documentary providing an authoritative piece of news reporting on a historic event in a journalistic context. It just so happens that this historic event is an important moment in drill music history. And I'm really not making light of these situations I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I'm not going to be recycling this tragedy into content for money like some of these YouTube channels do. I genuinely care about the drill music scene, its history, and I've done extensive research to try and bring you the truth.
Nah, this thing is a fed.
I am the #1 journalist in the entire UK when it comes to rap music, drill music,
you know, police be watching this shit. Y'all think police watch this shit? They got to. I am truly a trusted authority
on the topic, and I really care. But that said,
I'm gonna skip to the video.
Anyone's permission.
Fuck the disclaimer, bro.
Traplaw Ross, where you can watch the director's cut for just $2. Also, to get involved in the streets about 3 years ago when he turned 18 and graduated. Claimed. Hold on. But interestingly, unlike
whoa. All right, here we go.
Story as a child ever told.
All right, here we go,
Interestingly,
Chad.
unlike Von, who was seemingly in the streets since a child, Jeff would wildly
Isaac.
claim that he had only gotten involved in the streets about 3 years ago when he turned 18 and graduated from high school, committing all of these alleged murders in a very short time span.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18 type shit.
Okay.
I just turned like 18.
Jeff also became known for his equally wild antics that showed he was a complete loose cannon. For example, when he famously snorted crushed up pills during his DJU interview. Then there was the time he seemingly shot his gun towards someone during an Instagram live, as well as openly bragging about how he was robbing people for their designer watches.
Hey, look, Jeff. You should take this picture.
I was going out, oh, weeds. I got blood on them diamonds and I still wore it.
This like it's part
I
of
was
my
just say they
tattoo.
don't know if that's a tattoo or real.
Vlad, thank you for the sub.
Hey, no.
To compare Lil Jeff to King Von is guaranteed to anger some people, and by no means was Jeff's star power or rapping abilities anywhere near that of Von's. But then again, Von also had support from the biggest artist to ever rise from the drill scene, Lil Durk, and he was several years older than Jeff when his rap career took off. Furthermore, Von had already been in the streets for close to a decade, forming the reputation that would eventually help him to become the boogeyman of Chicago
Von
drill,
was really a killer,
as well as being
bro.
an undeniable legend in the rap game following his untimely death in November 2020.
Oh, Simon, we here forever,
Jeff, on the
gang.
other hand, was still
We
by
starting
all
the afternoon,
accounts
we
very
good.
much still in the streets whilst he was trying to find his voice and talent on the mic. While Jeff's rapping style was controversial and divisive amongst fans of Chicago drill, there's no denying that Lil Jeff was evolving musically and becoming more and more comfortable in using his rather unique high-pitched voice that kind of made him sound like the real-life Joker of Chirac. Unfortunately, we'll never know what might have come from his music career,
I
because
ain't
as
gonna
most
lie.
drill fans know by now,
Chad, is that an accident or something? Because even Chucky got that high-pitched voice. Like, a lot of niggas in Chicago got that high-pitched type of voice. Is that just an accident or something, Chad?
8th of June 2024, Lil Jeff was gunned down in the south side of Chicago, only about a half-a-mile walk from the notorious Parkway Gardens
got you, Mo,
public
for
housing
B comes
complex,
upon.
aka O Block, that King Von was known to
He
rep,
dead,
and as
Steezy.
always seems to be guaranteed
He
these
died
days,
on a drill.
Lil Jeff's demise and the shootout that led up to it was all captured on surveillance footage, even going viral within the drill community just after it happened. But it was not just the fact that Lil Jeff was killed that made his story blow up beyond the drill audience, but more so how he died. As when that surveillance video leaked soon after the news of his passing, the world saw a masked up Lil Jeff getting shot down as he was literally trying to chase another man into
R.I.P.
his house
Chad.
whilst wildly shooting in his direction, something that he'd even claimed to have done before in several songs. After Lil Jeff's death, the media attention around him would blow up, with even more mainstream rap media platforms like No Jumper, who had previously not reported on him, including him in their content several times. Meanwhile, the twisted online
know,
detectives
right?
of the Chirac
Yo,
I ain't gonna lie. For one time, I was in the club with like some of my older homies and shit. For I ain't gonna lie, we did see Q50 and Lil Reese in that bitch. They was in that bitch looking like they was hun. Boy, I ain't gonna lie, that shit. I ain't gonna lie, they really be taking niggas J at them clubs for no bad for, but bro, keep going, keep playing.
bro, I ain't gonna lie, like, the thing with the Jeff shit, bro, is like, I ain't gonna lie, majority of people seen him die on a drill. Yeah, Chad, Chad, basically, he hopped out on the nigga. He seen his op, hopped out on a nigga and chased him in the crib and they killed him. But the thing is, it's like, bro, when rappers have like popularity and shit, why are they still sliding? Like, I don't get that shit.
Lil Jeff don't look at himself like a rapper, bro. Well, he didn't look at himself like a rapper, folks.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you think Vaughn was still sliding?
King Von?
Yeah.
I guess the nigga was still sliding.
All right, so that's what I'm saying. So Vaughn,
But King Von was a real rapper.
no. So Jeff wasn't a real rapper.
No. The fuck? Are you crazy?
All right, so was Scoom a real rapper?
Scoom was a good rapper, but
Oh,
he wasn't
my.
at the status to the point where he was a real rapper. Yeah, you know, to be a real rapper for you sign, you got money, you got your change and shit. That's when you a real rapper for. You got a real fan base, like 100K plus on the ground. You really a rapper for. You know, you mainstream. Lil Jeff and Lil Scoom was not mainstream yet. You know what I'm saying?
Chad, is that facts or fiction? Name
They
5
never did
Lil
a show,
Jeff songs. Nigga, that's easy. Shoulda saw it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me actually think. Shoulda saw it. Triple Threat.
Bro, them is, come on, gang. These are songs after, like, you know, like these niggas, you got to think when Lil Jeff was alive for that LAX Red on Bleed.
LAX,
that
yeah.
That shit was only at like 30K, gang. You feel what I'm saying?
Maybe. Lost my gun. Yeah, I go lie.
Rapology subreddit were going into overdrive, and in the days following Jeff's death, dozens and dozens.
It sucks how all these rappers blow up with their storylines after they deaths though. Like that's ass. That is so ass.
Threads and comments from his fans and haters would fill the platform, with the most devoted Lil Jeff-ologists eventually even starting their very own subreddit to exclusively discuss
but 10 hats
their
doesn't sound crazy,
their new king drill. There were almost comical posts where Lil
times?
Jeff-ologists shared their grief, explaining how they were having sleepless nights and depression in the 24 hours following Jeff's death. These twisted posts would explain how the loss of their new favorite demonic rapper had been a personal blow, and how despite the alleged 11 murders to his name, they felt a personal connection to this flawed individual, and how his killer aura had resonated with so many. Soon would come updates, as fans posted saying that it had been 1 week since Jeff's death, and the devastation had
them
gotten
Jeff
easier,
niggas in
with
them
this
Reddits
user
be dick
explaining
riding,
that
I
he
ain't
wants to
gonna
drill
lie.
himself so he can be with Lord Jeff, and asking other users if they have tips on how to grieve. Another update landed on day 12, as the user explained that he'd been saying Jeff's name in the mirror to try and bring him back, and explaining how he can still feel Jeff's presence around him.
Yo,
and
these
he can
Reddit
see Jeff's
niggas be
reflection flashing
crazy,
wads of money
Chad.
at him in store windows.
These
Now
niggas
all of this
be
goes to show
gay.
you the bizarre and twisted level of fandom that Chicago Drill has really reached, with this adoration of Jeff even topping some of the most extreme King Von glazing that's been observed online. Chicago Drill is truly the juncture where internet fandom meets music meets real-life true crime, and where the very people actually involved in that life are getting killed by the hundreds every year. And when it comes to this combination of music and true crime, the story of Lil Jeff is surely up there with some of the wildest to come out of the drill scene in recent years. But Lil Jeff's story is still one shrouded in mystery, because while Jeff was certainly no stranger to letting the world know about his reckless escapades in the dangerous streets of Chicago, he was also a fairly new face in the scene who seemingly appeared out of nowhere just a few years ago, which makes his claims to have double-digit bodies under his belt sound particularly outrageous, making
Chad,
many
do you
fans
think
of
he
Chicago
actually has
Drill
10 bodies?
typically reject these claims as possible.
Can't be no way in hell, bro. Got 11 confirmed. That's what I'm saying. Yo, there's no way in hell a nigga gets away with murder 11 times.
Hey, look, fo, if a nigga is on camera sniffing yerks, I believe him, fo. I ain't gonna lie, fo. And he said,
Tevin, thank you for the
shit in
sub.
different states. On phone them grades.
So you don't think that he had like, okay, look, 4 to 5 is more realistic. You feel me? Maybe 5 to 6. You feel me? But
yeah, like,
11,
I ain't gonna lie, 10, bro. Look, for they be saying hats and shit.
bro, 11, bro.
10, like him, like 10 might not be 100%, but they do be sharing hats and shit. So
Obviously false. Moreover, Lil Jeff hails from an area that's previously received only limited coverage in media focused on the drill culture. So in this video, we're trying to give the most in-depth look into the life and the music career of Bloodhound Lil Jeff so far, and try and determine, with all of the information available publicly today, was Bloodhound Lil Jeff really a street demon with 11 murders to his name, or just a wannabe serial killer on social media who effed around and found out?
Police can make up any number once they dead. Nah, but he claimed it, nigga.
Shooting, and they're taking back the street. On Saturday, it was a different scene on 75th Street in Chatham, where one person was shot and killed, 9 others wounded.
Outside their school, with homemade signs demanding peace, they gathered.
We gonna rock with it, roll with it.
We're only 17, 18 years old, and we losing our lives at a young age.
Man, we do this shit, man, every day, man. Drill City, we out here, man.
On one of the most violent streets in the city, 79th Street, artist and activist Common lends his support and voice to lift up this Chatham neighborhood.
Yeah, you see them bandanas, that mean we Bloodhound.
So can you tell us like who introduced you to the street life?
My brother.
Your older brother, right?
Looking at us, bro.
Unfortunately, there are many families who are suffering.
So you would say you've experienced some trauma growing up in these streets of Chicago.
It's all sad.
How
Black
old
man
was you
losing
when
their lives,
Chief
for
came
real.
out? Like,
I was in 3rd grade.
I am swag, man. I'm watching.
they
Let me watch
said
this first.
Bloodhound Lil Jeff got 10 bodies.
I ain't gonna lie, my homie dad is on my face. She's right here.
See money?
Yeah.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie though. It seems like everybody who's like a known killer though, they all got like some type of addiction to like the drugs though. That's what be making me feel like the shit is true. Like, bro, I ain't gonna lie, like that shit is kind of like trauma. Like you can tell, like you feel me, like on some shit. Tell you feel me though, bro. Al, don't start that.
And how does this death affect your mentality, brother?
These, all I see is reggae.
About the type of lifestyle that Von led, everybody consider him the top savage of the rap. Was that something you looked up to?
Yeah, that's him. I'm me.
Hey, y'all, listen to this real quick. Let me know what y'all hear. This smoke with the whole rack. Whoever want it, we giving it out on my dead grave. Summertime finna be a black.
Cause we live in a time right now where like a lot of rappers actually live the life they say, whether it's like trapping or anything.
No, that is true though, Chad. We are in a generation where rappers are really living the shit they talk about. We haven't had a cap rapper in a long time, Chad. Am I lying? Who's the cap rapper?
Jaleel Goins was pronounced dead at Rush University Medical Center.
What? Right.
Go ask my ops that might go Drake his ass and get out that car.
So when y'all like in the booth and all that, how do y'all?
That nigga has tattoos.
Annoying TV, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you just say we haven't had a cap rapper in a long time?
Who's the cap rapper?
Yo ass be talking, bro.
Who's the cap rapper? Who's the cap rapper?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Who's the cap rapper?
Even if I don't name somebody, how do you know who's capping and who's not, right?
Because a lot of niggas be vouching.
Oh my fucking god. So you think Baby Chief do it just clapping niggas up?
That's not what I said. I mean, he don't got to. I've never seen him get vouched personally.
All right.
That's personally, I've never seen him.
Just keep
but you never know. Shit, he might.
Oh, rapping.
He might. Shit, you feel me? I ain't gonna lie. With certain rappers, you gotta understand. Tell me if I'm lying. Certain rappers make shit sound so good, you wouldn't even be able to tell, bro. You wouldn't even be able to tell, gang. Real shit.
I'll stay away from like even incriminating lyrics.
I went black for like a week.
Poof.
So after that one, poof. I came back. Poof.
Video
Bloodhound.
YB.
Shit, his brother. They said his brother was wild, so why not? How you know he not? The old wives vouch for him.
Lil Jeff, real name Jeffrey Lamar Harris, was born on the 14th of July 2002, getting named after his father, who shares the exact same name. Jeff's family has seemingly mostly lived around the same area, the east side of Chicago.
Bloodhound Lil Jeff story today. Can you start by telling us where you from?
Chicago, north, east side of Chicago. East side of Chicago.
East side.
Yeah.
However, this east side is not to be confused with the official east side, which is one of the 77 community areas of Chicago located in the far south side of the city. The unofficial east side, on the other hand, which is where Lil Jeff grew up, is mainly part of the Chicago folklore, and thus its exact borders are often heavily debated by locals, with many even arguing that everything in the south side, from State Street all the way to Lake Michigan, actually counts as the east side, which would even include hoods like the infamous O Block and their main rivals STL EBT and Jaro City. And on the other side of the Washington Park, also hoods like Tay Savage's Welch World. Yet these hoods are typically not discussed as being part of the east side, but rather simply being part of the south side, as in the case of O Block, STL, and Jaro, or more specifically in the case of Welch World, part of the so-called Low End, another area that's a deep part of Chicago folklore, which roughly covers the area on the south side from the state to the lake north of Washington Park. In the drill culture specifically, the east side has become particularly known for hoods that exist roughly south of 67th Street, with this street and the two huge green spaces, the Jackson Park and Oakwood Cemetery.
YBC Doe's not cap rap, but I see that video of him swinging the Drake.
However, there are also sets on the north side of the 67th
I know y'all
Street
niggas see that video, bro. That shit had me crying.
TYMB and Dro City, which both rep the 65th Street.
I'm like, damn, I shoot better than them.
When going westwards from Lake Michigan is much more ambiguous, with the State Street and the I-94 next to it, generally acting as a sort of last cutoff point in the drill scene. This east side is known particularly for gangs like G Herbo and Lil Bibby's crew NLMB, which is made up of two clicked-up gang sets, No Limit and the Muskegon Boys, with these initials creating the NLMB moniker, which has also been used to stand for Never Leave My Brothers. However, NLMB's hood is located in the South Shore neighborhood, which is located very close to the shores of Lake Michigan, and is infamously known by the locals as Terror Town, a place with a long history for being particularly dangerous. Whereas when it came to Lil Jeff, his family seemed to mostly stay in a much more central area around the Grand Crossing and Chatham community areas, which generally have been much lesser discussed in the drill scene before Lil Jeff's recent blow-up, although the area has seen its fair share of rappers since the early 2010s repping these specific hoods. Now, Lil Jeff's family has long ties to the streets in the area. His father, Jeffrey Harris Sr., allegedly belonged to a street set called 068 C Block, C standing for Champlain Avenue, with their main spot seemingly being on 68th Street and Champlain. To put this location in context, this street corner is only about 0.3 miles from the location where Lil Jeff would eventually lose his life. And while there's not much available about this particular set online, Jeff's father was born in the early 80s, and thus he and his set were likely at their most active around the turn of the millennium and throughout the 2000s. What we do know with some certainty is that Jeff's
majority of these niggas said it's like they live in a lifestyle where they've been gangbanging for years,
the person
bro.
Alleged by many
you can't stop
the
that
one
shit.
to gun him down, although there's no real evidence at the moment to prove who was the actual triggerman. But what can be said with more certainty is that close to the hood of Jeff's father, there would be another large hood that would end up playing a very large role in the street beefs that Jeff would get involved in. This hood was well known in Chicago even back in the 90s and 2000s when Jeff's dad was more active in the streets, and its history likely even goes much further back
it's like they
than
can't
that.
escape it. That shit is sad.
For example,
What's
in
the
the
word,
classic 1996 song by Chicago rapper D.A. Smart titled Walk With Me, he lists several Chicago hoods all around the area, with one of the bars referencing Lakeside, Paxtown, and Lont City, as Smart mentions how both Black Disciples and Gangster Disciples run the two latter hoods.
It's like these niggas been at war since forever.
Have more or less stayed
Like,
intact
what the
until
fuck?
this day, at least in name, Lont City would eventually break apart, therefore it's not included in the modern gang maps. However, during the late 90s, in the trial against Larry Hoover, the infamous founder and leader of the Gangster Disciples, or GDs, one of the former members of Hoover's GDs, who turned informant, would give a very detailed description about the Lont City's territory at the time, this territory allegedly covering everything from 78th Street to 83rd Street, and all the way from State Street to Stony Island Avenue. This territory being absolutely enormous by modern Chicago gang standards, however their main spots were seemingly on the 79th Street, such as 79th and Evans, which is just a stone's throw away from the 79th in Maryland that Jeff would later begin to claim. One of the highest ranking GDs of the 90s, called Shorty G, real name Gregory Shell, would even allegedly live in Lont City. Shorty G would also have a prodigy in Lont City called Lil Frank, real name Frank Smith, who would later rise to the top of the leadership of the original GDs before he was given a life sentence in 2023 for allegedly organizing a killing of another high-ranking GD member as part of a leadership dispute. Due to its large size, Lont City had likely always had smaller sets working within it,
but then that shit all my life got crazy for in 2012 when Black Parties and shit was lit.
GD.
Bro, just hearing all this shit, like how niggas just
Chicago hoods had lost the
beef
majority
since 2010 just sounds crazy. Like niggas have never given up since 14 years, nigga. Like goddamn, niggas been 15, 14 years, nigga. What the fuck? Yo, thank you for the sub, Dada.
Between them.
Whoa,
in Lont City, these separate sets were also becoming more independent, particularly 6 sets that were known as 8-Tray Mob, Evans Mob, Hit Squad, Mix Mob, Wiz City, and Drill City, the latter of which would eventually become Lil Jeff's set. According to Chiracologists, these individual sets would eventually break Lont City apart completely due to some of the BD sets backdooring the original GD leaders of Lont City. In the aftermath of this breakup, what's now known as Mix Mob would seemingly keep repping Lont City even after the breakup. Meanwhile, Drill City would seemingly get its name around the same time as the Chicago drill movement was starting. Chicago drill music being the ultra-violent evolution of gangster rap, with beats inspired by Atlanta trap and gritty lyrics all about real crime.
Nah, Chicago really did start a wave, Chad.
With this set having some of the first pioneering drill
they got
artists,
hella
such as the
fucking
rapper known as
rappers.
Fat Smack, who is in fact the actual cousin of the rapper Pac-Man.
After Atlanta, Chicago's probably number 2 in rap. What y'all think, Chad? What are the top rappers in each city?
Of the drill
Like,
genre before Chief
4
Keef made it
rappers.
famous.
I say New York, Atlanta, Chicago.
Or a magic mystery, but I make you disappear. Poof, history. I know you sick of me, but Mac is the antidote. So if you act fruity, I have to split your cantaloupe. Hey man, you know this Pac-Man, Mr. Joe City. I'm not here, man. Hey, I tell him, the coupe looking like a Sunday, a chocolate Maserati, butter vanilla guts, valet pocketed at the party. Yo, on my heels, she was jocking me in the lobby. See the Morgan Crocodile's pocket watching like she gon' rob me. I swipe for a room, penthouse, we at the W. The had your name on the neck, I know my stomach too.
Already in late 2010, Fat Smack would put out a mixtape titled A Day in Drill City, this being among the first drill projects ever to come out. Drill City is also known as
Philly got some good rappers.
or
Oh yeah, Philly
Crazy,
got pretty good
which generally
rappers too. I
refers
ain't
to
gonna lie,
them
you're not
being an
lying.
insane or renegade gang set.
Yo,
This
in
means that they generally
Poland,
don't
thank you for the
adhere to any
sub.
central structure of a historical gang like the BDs or GDs, and essentially are willing to go to war with or kill people that descended from the same original gang as them. It seems that Drill City will first call with another set from the former Lont City called Wiz City or Whisper City, named after a boy called Whisper, aka Wiz, who seemingly died in 2008 from medical complications. Similarly as Drill City being bar none, Wiz City would be known as Brain Dead. This generally also meaning that they are insane or renegade BDs who again don't abide by any centralized BD leadership and are willing to go to war with other BDs. In the very early 2010s, Wiz City was seemingly already beefing hard with several of the former Lont City sets, including Evans Mob, Mix Mob, and 8-Tray Mob.
Hey man, so I just want to talk about that mix mod thing, man.
These niggas out here making YouTube videos in 2010.
First of all, y'all. First of all, let me say that right there. And there, y'all is hell, man. You feel me? Y'all lucky I'm on this house arrest because if I wasn't, what's going down, man? There's big drills on y'all. For real. Old 82nd movement, man. We ain't playing no games.
Boy, Drake, Weird City, crazy. Brain dead, you already know 82nd, crazy. Boy, another side. H.A. Mob.
Mix mob.
Mix mob. All them.
Bro, that shit is crazy, Chad.
Crazy, boy. GDK, that fat, boy.
Yeah, what does this have to do with the fucking Jeff shit, though?
Meanwhile,
Eastside
it
Lost
appears
to
that
the
Drill City members
Okay,
were originally much more open to linking up with different sets, even ones that were already at war with Wiz City.
Thank you for the sub, exclamation point sub, how to subscribe to the stream.
Which might be why someone on Reddit presenting them as having lived in the area during the late 2000s and early 2010s describes Drill City as playing sides. Meanwhile, another Redditor claims that Wiz City was getting close with the TYMB set, which is known from the early drill culture for getting shoutouts from the likes of Chief Keef. However, Drill City was beefing with TYMB, and there are even rumors that they killed one of their most loved members in 2012, a young man known in the streets as Obama. Real name Reginald Smith, the 24-year-old was shot and killed in a walk-up style attack on the 6500 block of South Drexel Avenue. The wildest rumors even claim that this killing led to one of the Drill City members getting kidnapped by TYMB before getting released for a 10k ransom. However, the consensus among Chiracologists seems to be that Obama was more likely killed by a member from another set that would become very close with Drill City. But more about that later. In any case, TYMB continues to be one of Drill City's longest ops, which is at least partly why even Lil Jeff would drop a Y sometimes in his music videos and on social media. At the time though, Wiz City's alliance with TYMB would allegedly cause Drill City to separate themselves from them and ally fully with their biggest ops, the Mix Mob, instead. This alliance eventually going under the moniker DCMM, or Drill City Mix Mob, as represented by Fat Smack and another Drill City member called Leaky in their 2013 song by the same name. And they would also openly claim to be Wiz City K and vice versa, with Wiz City members vowing to K or kill anyone from Mix Mob or Drill City. The war between all these former Lon City sets would only keep escalating in the years to come, and alliances would keep changing.
How long do you think Trap Lord Ross be taking to edit these videos?
Also keep certain enemies.
It gotta be taking them a long ass time.
GD sets, H-Ray Mob, Evans Mob, and Hitsquad, who have seemingly always stayed relatively united with each other and against Drill City or BNC, as well as the Brain Dead BD set,
it's kind of interesting,
and another nearby Brain Dead BD
I see why it's 3 hours
MTV 079 or Money Through Vernon.
I heard before, like, you know, all this, like, all the violence started. I heard, like, y'all was everybody, every hood was all in one. Like, y'all used to go by Lawn City or the Lawn. Is that true or not?
Yeah, Lawn City is like the whole area.
Like from Shadow to Apple.
We is Shadow. We is Shadow.
But y'all was a part of y'all hood was a part of Lawn City, right?
Yeah,
Lawn City movement.
Now, Drill City and all that shit.
You know, them the other side though now.
I ain't gonna lie.
I ain't saying how it, like, you know, how it happened, but I'll say what year would y'all say all this broke apart?
I ain't gonna lie, folks.
2009,
2009, 2010, bro. That's when really everybody, like, all them on the other side, they started.
Yeah, hearing that 2012 was 12 years ago is just fucking crazy just to begin with.
I ain't gonna lie, we was the only GD we clicked up with nobody.
You talking about like for H-Ray?
I don't know how you watch this police that shit. Nigga, these niggas be snitching on themselves. What you mean, police? Chad, I'm lying. These niggas be telling on themselves. The fuck?
I ain't gonna lie, this shit clickbait, boy.
Yeah, like we ain't just no everybody ain't GD. Brother PD, we family. He ain't straight we family.
I was gonna say.
Out of these three majority GD sets, Evans Mob is perhaps best known through their early 2010s connection with the infamous Washington Park-based set 600, due to two of their members, 600 Breezy and S-Dot, having a childhood and family connection to this set. Evans Mob is also known for a now classic moment in drill history when two of their members would catch infamous drill rapper Lil Reese from Lamron, aka the Grim Reaper, with this video causing the so-called Lil Reese Poopgate, as people would claim that the video showed visible skid marks on Lil Reese's underwear. A stinky conspiracy in Chicago drill that's been debated for years, and one which fans would eventually go all in on, analysing the patterns of the specific boxers that the Grim Reaper had been wearing that day.
Nah, there's no way niggas is researching the niggas' draws, bro.
Deception all along,
these
as the
niggas
alleged
is
brown
crazy.
stain actually turned out to just be part of the design of that particular set of boxers. But anyway, H-Ray Mob are a lesser known set to the average drill listener, although they too would have some rappers attempting to come up in the original
Investigating
drill
a
wave,
nigga's
with
draws
artists like
is
Don
insane.
Darius
The
and
Reddit
Murder Mal
users are
dropping some
crazy.
early songs that would gather some decent views, such as their 2013 music video for a remix of Lil Durk's song Competition, where one 8-Tray member can be seen proudly presenting his shirt which says MTVK, BNCK, and Wiz City K. Hit Squad, on the other hand, is perhaps the smallest set out of these three, getting its name after a man called Hits, real name Marlon Dubose, who was killed in 2010, being shot in the head and neck. These are already many sets to keep track of, but ultimately, these were just the sets from the original Lon City hood. Whilst the story of Lil Jeff also includes numerous sets from nearby the original Lon City, because during the early drill era, while Lil Jeff was still just a young boy with dreams of pro basketball, his big brother Jay Boogie would jump headfirst into the streets, becoming friends with the very people that Jeff would later want to kill so bad that it ended up costing him his own life.
RP chat. All right, here we go. Now we're getting deeper in the story, nigga.
For many fans of Lil Jeff, his big brother Jay Boogie is perhaps best known for being the profile picture on Lil Jeff's Instagram account. However, Jay Boogie is almost 5 years older than Jeff and has had a long history by himself in the streets of Chicago.
Them niggas
His
look
name being
nothing
familiar
alike.
to many of those
I ain't
drill
gonna
fans
lie.
who have followed the scene since its inception. Both Boogie and Jeff seemingly spent their early years in the far south side of Chicago in the Burnside neighborhood, more specifically in a hood called Flipside, which reps the 93rd Street, with Jeff attending the CICS Elementary School close by on the 95th Street. Boogie, who was at the time also going by the name
They look
Young
alike?
Khalifa,
So they look
would be
alike to
close
y'all?
with one of the
Different
most
dads
loved
look
members
like?
of Flipside.
Yeah,
who
maybe.
would unfortunately be killed.
Nah,
in August
one of them is like
2014,
hella
with
dark
Flipside
skin and the other
starting to
nigga's
call
like
their
hella
hood
light
K-Block
skin.
in his honor. However, it seems that before Tay's death,
Jeff looked
Boogie
like
would
he mixed
seemingly
with black
either
and
move
white
more
for
up north,
sure.
or at least begin to spend more time around the Woodlawn neighborhood, not far
Probably
from Drill
different
City's
moms,
hood,
maybe?
with guys from a set
I
called
don't know.
Criswold. Criswold is named after a 14-year-old boy called Christopher Travis, also known as Lil Chris, who was killed all the way back in 2010 by a man
R.I.P.
named
chat.
Cordell Glover, known as Wheezy.
Damn,
Wee
he died at
allegedly
14?
from the EBT set. Lil
That's
Chris was
crazy.
seemingly part of TYMB and can be seen in old pictures with them, and Chris World would then begin as a faction within TYMB,
Losing your life
or
at 14
YMB, meaning
crazy.
Young Money Boys, as the set was known before they would eventually change their name in honor of a dead member called Ty, real
Oh,
name
yeah, Jeff,
Everett
dad
Walker,
was
who
light-skinned in the
killed a year
video.
earlier
You're
in
right.
2009 during a particularly
know, so what do y'all
violent
think,
night
different
where 4
dads?
people died in 3 shootings. But while TYMB was primarily repping the 65th Street, Chris World would begin to rep the 66th Street, which Chris had seemingly frequented, even though he would in fact live near the 64th Street. Around this time, TYMB, the newly founded Chris World, and Wick City, that would later become known as O Block, were all seemingly pretty close with each other, with their main ops being sets like STL EBT. However, this would allegedly change when Obama from TYMB was killed in March 2012, with many now seemingly thinking that his killer was a man called Kenny Mack, not to be confused with the Kenny Mack from the FBG Duck murder case, or several other Kenny Macks from different sets all over Chicago. This Kenny Mack was part of Chris World, and by all accounts, one of the central members in that faction. According to some Chiracologists, Obama's death was the result of a dice game gone bad, which would make sense, given that even though witnesses would seemingly describe the killer simply walking up to Obama, he was in fact found dead in a hallway. Others have claimed that the beef between TYMB and Chris World actually goes back way before Obama's murder, with some drill fans claiming that one of TYMB's top rappers, Money Man, was in fact already dissing Chris World in a song together with Obama back in May 2011, with it being suggested that this dissing then led to Obama's death. However, in fact, Money Man appears to be shouting out Chris World just like he shouts out several other people before them, including E-Day from 600 and Boss Sean from Wick City, that would later become known as O Block, meaning that around this time, the two sets were seemingly still on good terms. But what does seem clear is that the beef between TYMB and Chris World would indeed begin even before Obama's murder. And while there's even a photo of Jay Boogie himself seemingly throwing up the Y in January 2012, a few months before Obama's death, while hanging with a rapper Bad Habit affiliated with Chris World, already later that same month, a girl affiliated with Chris World would make a post on Facebook
this
saying
nigga
F
is
the other
going
side,
deep.
while dissing YMB, aka TYMB, and also shouting out 3 sets.
I don't know
Chris
what's going
World,
on in
Trap
work, too much
City,
chatter.
Drill City.
Bro, all I
It appears
know
that
is
even before
he's just talking
Obama's
about
murder,
the beef.
TYMB
I
had been
don't
beefing
know.
particularly hard with another Woodlawn-based set, this set being called Trap City, also known as Zone 7, with the 7 representing the 67th Street that they would claim, more specifically, the intersection of 67 and Rhodes. This location is only 0.2 miles from the intersection of 67th and Langley that Jay Boogie would post to his Facebook in September 2012, with this being the first photo that he still has up on his page. Trap City and TYMB's beef was at this point well established, with beloved members like a 17-year-old named Rio, real name Ryan Gibson, having allegedly also been killed by TYMB in October 2011. Trap City and TYMB
This is talking about his brother
through music, such as the TYMB member
I ain't gonna lie. Y'all want to skip this
song.
section? Is this section just talking about his brother Flex? You want to skip this?
Bro, skip all this shit.
All right, bet. Here we go.
Going into 2013, the Chicago drill music scene was reaching its peak, propelled by the immense popularity of Chief Keef. But while other up-and-coming drill artists were largely keeping the similar dark and violent themes that had made the genre popular, both lyrically and sonically, Chief Keef himself, who was now living the good life in the rich suburbs just outside of Chicago and surrounded by all the lean and loud he could possibly consume, would quickly begin to experiment with his sound, cranking his auto-tune settings to the max while beginning to add much more melodic elements to his rapping,
what
combined
the
with
fuck
an often
does this
heavy
have to do with
slurring,
Lil
like it
Jeff?
is partially caused by the same YouTube up making their own dedicated diss track released with a music video in May 2015. This song was called simply Warm, and the beat was a much more standard dark drill anthem. In the song, the Finesse Crew rappers go back and forth, spitting bars whilst dissing their ops, particularly TYMB, with Boogie also taking part in the rapping, saying that he's the youngest running things, being now 17 years old, before telling how he's driving through the ops hood with big clips while dropping Ys with both hands. This music video would also have a major cameo from a rapper who was making a lot of noise around this time, having become known a few years earlier for being one of the best friends of a true Chicago drill legend, LA Capone. This rapper was JB Bin Laden, who is the first person
I remember
to appear in
him.
the
I ain't
video,
gonna lie.
E2 dropping Ys with
I remember
both
JB.
hands. But this was not in fact the first time that JB had made an appearance on a Finesse Crew video, as already in December 2014, he can be seen in their music video for the song Kickstand Lean Boys, together with none other than Boss Top from O Block, with this possibly reflecting how O Block had now fallen out with TYMB too. JB is from a BD set called 400 East or 400E, which is directly on the other side of the Interstate 90 from Trap City and Chris World, with their main block being on the 71st and King Drive. Due to JB's close relationship with LA Capone, and LA even allegedly living on 400 East Hood with JB for a period of time, the set would even take on the name LA Gang in his honor following his death. But it seems that JB had a particularly strong bond with J Boogie, as he would often post and shout him out on social
thank you for
media.
the resub. Exclamation point sub and subscribe to the stream.
Smoke your like a blue cigarette.
Yeah, this is all
blue
fillers. I ain't gonna lie. I'm skipping this too. Lil Jeff hops off the porch. Thank you.
Coming into the
God
2020s,
damn, that nigga was
J
shouting.
Boogie and the rest of the Bloodhounds would keep repping
shit.
their new clique in their music, such as the May 2020 music video for the song Go by Boogie, JB, and another Drill City rapper called Lil Vic, where Boogie first raps that he's only been out for 60 days but has already ran his paper back up, with this likely referring to his 2017 arrest on numerous charges, the most serious one being UUW, or unlawful use of a weapon, for which he would end up receiving a 4-year sentence. He would then mention the Bloodhounds, saying that they will come and get anyone for the right bag, all while the members would be flexing big bags of vacuum-sealed dope in the music video. JB then steps in and calls the Bloodhounds his family, while flexing a new Bloodhound chain, which is the very same design that Jeff would later rock in his own music videos. Boogie also comes back towards the end, as he compares the Bloodhounds to an army due to the wide selection of guns that they have. The Bloodhounds would also have a new rapper that would begin to drop a bunch of songs around this time too. His name was Bloodhound Z Money, real name Zaire Nelson.
Z-Money used to rap. Fuck, Z-Money used to
Jeff's
rap?
cousin, with some of Jeff's family members from his mother's side commonly liking and commenting on Z-Money's family's social media posts. There were also old photos of Z-Money from the early 2010s together with J Boogie and the mother of Jeff and Boogie. In a music video by Z-Money dropped in December 2020, Z-Money can be seen hanging out with J Boogie, flexing big guns and stacks of cash. Unfortunately, not long before this video dropped, Boogie would get in trouble with the law once again in August 2020, when he was seemingly arrested twice on numerous charges, including possession of a stolen vehicle and once again UUW. This would once again see J Boogie doing another long bid in prison, with his projected parole date now being in 2027.
Damn.
Meanwhile, the new generation of Drill City, Trap City, and Chris World members were also reaching adulthood. One of these kids being the Bloodhound rapper Vert, or Relvert, who seemingly spent much of his childhood in these neighborhoods. In fact, his and his old friend's social media accounts still have plenty of pictures left from around that time period, and in these pictures, a young Vert can be seen dropping the Ys, likely once again for TYMB, whilst also throwing what seems to be either a 6 or a B hand sign, perhaps either as a homage to 66th Street, meaning Trap City or Chris World, or for Barnum, that Drill City rep. Or the B may possibly even represent the Bloodhounds, which at this time were already a major thing amongst many of the older members from the area, who were using this very same hand sign. Now, Vert is slightly older than Jeff, and he would also begin his rap career a few years before him. For example, his music video for a song called Next Song Remix, dropping in early 2019.
Vert
the music
is
video
hard,
begins
though.
with Vert
Tell
saying
y'all
that
fuck
they're
with Vert.
posted up on the
I ain't gonna lie,
79th,
Vert's
meaning Drill
hard.
City's hood, before once again dropping Ys and throwing the 6 or B hand sign.
Hey, you know how the fuck you come here? Freedom members, man. You know, come here. Hey, 07 now, you know, we in this.
He then begins his verse by saying how he's posted on the 9 and sometimes on the 6, meaning that he hangs out in both Drill City's hood and Trap City or Criswell's hood. While it appears that Vert was mostly repping Drill City, he would also be very close with Trap City members, as can be seen from his 21st birthday vlog in 2022, where he hangs out in Trap City's hood, with this video being eerily posted exactly 2 years before Jeff's death in that very same hood. More specifically, Vert is hanging in the video near 67th and Evans, while Jeff would be killed near 67th and Rhodes, only about a 0.3 mile walk away. Vert would also explain in his early 2022 interview with Truth Teller TV that he was both Drill City and Trap City.
I'm from 67 Trap City and 79 Drill City. My name Lil Vert, man.
Meanwhile, during the late 2010s, another main rapper from the new generation of Bloodhounds, who is also a cousin of Jeff and Z Money.
Yo, this picture is crazy.
Hey, that picture funny as hell, bro.
I'm telling you, this is crazy. Yo, chat, bro. This picture is fucking crazy. Nah, this nigga Trap Lil Ross know what he was doing, bro. This nigga knew what he was doing, bro. Nigga just woke up, bro. This nigga look like he about to go to Lifetime or some shit, bro.
Was still attending high school, eventually graduating in 2022. Jeff, on the other hand, was still largely absent from any social media activity concerning Drill City or Bloodhounds coming into the 2020s, with one of his first appearances seemingly being in a late 2021 music video by Z Money titled Gone MIA, where a 19-year-old Jeff can be seen chilling in the background while his cousin raps, while his other appearance will be soon after in a music video for his brother J Boogie and JB Bin Laden's track titled N-Words Green, where Jeff can be seen next to his big bro smoking big blunts and toting a gun with a drum magazine, showing that at this point he was already likely deep in the streets together with his brother. Coming into the 2020s, it seems that the beefs of the 06679, aka the Chris World, Trap City and Drill City Alliance, which now included also the Bloodhound clique, were now increasingly beginning to revolve around their oldest enemies, the GD majority sets of the former Lon City, 8-Tray Mob, Evans Mob and Hit Squad, which is likely why they were increasingly dropping rakes for the GDs in their music videos instead of the Ys for TYMB like they had primarily done throughout the 2010s. That would have been back when the beef with TYMB was particularly hot, but still, Vert would aim his disses in his September 2020 song No Dissin' squarely at TYMB and 8-Tray Mob, saying both Die Y for TYMB and F83rd for 8-Tray Mob. However, in his November 2021 remix of Lil Durk's track Piss Me Off, he would rap how it's F the Ops and Young Money, perhaps showing that the beef with TYMB was a much more passive beef now, while the beef with 8-Tray Mob, Evans Mob and Hit Squad was much more active at this time. Some months before the release of that song, on the 1st of March 2021, a very respected 8-Tray Mob member called Clay, real name Darian Cherry, was sitting in his car in the 8-Tray Mob's hood on the 86th Street when another car pulled up next to him and somebody began firing shots from the inside. Clay received a gunshot to the mouth and was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition. Clay would survive the shooting for the time being, but would remain in hospital fighting for his life. One member from the 8-Tray Mob who would comment on Clay's situation particularly often was a guy called Lil Crew, real name Nyreek Curtis, who was seemingly a very close friend of Clay. Crew was also an aspiring rapper who had been releasing music since at least 2017. Crew would comment on Facebook the very next day how he wasn't going to say too much, perhaps insinuating that he was going to respond by actions and not with words. However, his later post would also make it clear that Clay's situation was weighing heavily on his mind. Crew would also write about a week after Clay had been shot how they were testing their guns on stop signs because the ops weren't outside. And later, he would comment on how the ops had been on their high horse after Clay had been shot, even though they knew Clay had been sliding on them often. Unfortunately, Clay would eventually succumb to his injuries and pass away in 2021. And to honor his memory, 8-Tray Mob would begin to call their block the Clay Way. Clay's murder has never been solved, but the rumors online have
it is not known to be for Lil Jeff.
Place the blame on a few different people. One of these, perhaps somewhat surprisingly, being Lil Jeff himself, with some people claiming that this information comes from a reliable source, while others would claim that Clay had in fact been killed by Vert. However, to be absolutely clear, there's seemingly no real evidence to tie either of them to this murder, although they would certainly take part in dissing Clay on social media, and in music, such as on Vert's song Knuck If You Buck that was released on October 2022, where Vert raps how 8-Tray Mob thought that Clay's name was ringing in the streets, but now he's irrelevant, as well as dissing another 8-Tray Mob member for allegedly getting shot and injured. Unfortunately, Vert and Drill City were soon about to experience a major loss of their own. During his teenage years, Vert had seemingly been particularly close with a guy from Drill City called Ruger, real name Jermaine Darden. Unfortunately, Ruger would be gunned down in Drill City's hood in March 2021, whilst 2 others were wounded. This would be another devastating loss for the people close to him. Q50 too would pay his respects to Ruger right after his death, showing that while he might have been absent at this point from the music videos of guys like Vert, he was very much involved in the street side of things. Like Clay before him, the killing of Ruger would also become yet another unsolved murder in Chicago. However, there has certainly been some interesting posts that have come out after his death, one of these being a post from one of the cousins of Clay, who would say how he'd risked his life to get back for Clay. And then, less than a month after Ruger's death, on the 13th of April 2021, at around 7 p.m, Lil Crew would be outside of the very same 300 block of 86th Street where Clay had been shot at the beginning of March, when someone would open fire at him, striking him in the chest. Crew would then be taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, just like Clay had been, but this time the injuries were immediately too critical, and Crew would be pronounced dead soon after arrival. Yet again, the murder of Crew would go unsolved, but in online spaces... Oh my
god, so Chad, that's 2 of them. RP, Chad. Damn, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, these niggas in Chicago, when they get back, bro, these niggas be getting back fast, nigga. Am I the only one who be seeing that shit, bro? These things be getting back fast as fuck.
Themselves, who have been rumored to possess almost otherworldly ability to see the victims of their demigod and his disciples in their crystal balls, have once again pinned this murder on Vert. Some would even claim that Vert himself had gotten shot in the leg before Crew's murder, which he references in an unreleased song. This possibly even being the same shooting where Ruger would die and 2 others would be injured, one of these 2 then possibly being Vert. Vert would also mention Crew in the song Nuckety Buck, as well as the rapper Don Darius from 8-Tray, who was one of the early rappers for the set before he was killed in 2013, saying that he can't go out like Don D and that 8-Tray haven't got a get back for Crew and Clay, with at least the implication being that the 06679 were indeed behind the murders of both Crew and Clay. But perhaps the most telling lyrics from Vert are in a lesser known song from early 2022 titled Live or Die by the Chris World rapper Chief 2 Times, now going by the name Big Boss 2 Times, featuring Tero and RB Tasky from Trap City, as well as Vert, who raps in his verse how it's F8-Tray, before specifically mentioning both Crew and Clay, saying how he got them both lit. Yet others have claimed that Crew was in fact killed by somebody from the Woodlawn set 800.
But why though? Like I've never seen police just not care.
However, what is once again clear is that following the murder of Crew, Vert would use many of his songs to send messages.
And all of these shits are just going unsolved, bro. It's like the shit is the purge.
Firstly, in the beginning of June 2021, Vert would drop a music video for his song titled Play by the Rules, where the video begins with a tribute clip of Ruger dancing to Lil Durk's song No Auto Durk, where Durk raps the famous line, "New op pack in the air, this gas or what?" Then, a few months later, at the end of August 2021, Vert would drop a music video for his song Drill Life, where he raps how he has to kill 10 of his ops for them to feel what he felt, with this likely being another reference to Ruger. This was followed in November with a much more direct claim in Vert's Pissed Me Off remix, with Vert rapping how they got get back for Ruger and how they lost 1, but their ops lost 4. Then, once again, at the end of December 2021, Vert would drop a music video called Gang, together with JB and a rapper called Lil Cap, where they can be seen with a cutout of Ruger, while Vert begins the song by rapping how they cried for Ruger but also slid for him, and that the score is not even, with him implying that they are doing so much damage that their ops are claiming that 06679 is cheating. The dissing would continue in 2022 when Vert would release the music video for his song titled simply Drill, where Vert first repeats a bar of how someone was dissing on their raps but now they can't speak, with this being a possible reference to Crew, before then continuing to pay tribute to Ruger, saying that he's pulling up on his ops block and making them run. And the references to Ruger would just keep coming, with Vert then releasing a music video for his song 21 in June 2022, with this being the music video that they were filming in Trap City's hood during celebrations of Vert's 21st birthday. In the song, Vert once again mentions how he cried after Ruger's death, but that he had then wiped his tears and gone to sliding, and saying how it's been back-to-back homicides ever since. At this point, it was clear that no matter who had been behind these murders, the war around the east side was getting very heated, and unfortunately, the war wouldn't only continue between the established alliances, such as 8-Tray, Evans, and Hit Squad versus the Drill City, Trap City, Chris World, and the Bloodhounds, but it would eventually morph into a deadly civil war within the 06679 alliance.
Hey, he be making this shit like a movie though. I ain't gonna lie though. He be making this shit like a movie.
In late 2022, the time would finally come when Lil Jeff, or Bloodhound Lil Jeff, as his artist name would be, begun his rap career, dropping his first song and music video titled The Bloody Family, together with JB Bin Laden, with the name of the song being an obvious reference to his gang in the streets, the Bloodhounds. In his DJU interview, Jeff would attribute the beginning of his music career to Vert, who had encouraged him to start rapping. This part of the interview coinciding with Jeff's right-hand man Q50 chopping up some prescription quality pain medication with a doctor-like focus and precision, showing that while Jeff would later earn the nickname the Pistol Professor, it was Q50 who was truly the Pill Professor. The track Bloody Family would be followed about a month later with Jeff's first solo song titled Can't Beat Us. In these songs, a babyface Jeff raps with a monotone delivery, lacking the high-pitched Joker-style voice that would later become his trademark. And this version of Jeff almost looks like a different person from the charismatic neck-tattooed demon that he would later appear as in his music videos, walking around his hood like he owned the place. Nevertheless, since the beginning, Jeff was rapping like he was really, truly about that life, ending the song Can't Beat Us with an outro monologue where he repeats twice how he's really not a rapper, whilst insinuating that he's actually a killer who just raps because that's what the fans want to see. This was followed in late November with the first collab between Jeff and Vert, a song and music video titled I Love My Draco. And the music video begins with a clip showing a masked up Jeff in traffic, contributing to the image that Jeff and the other young Bloodhounds were actively sliding in the streets in between dropping their songs. This would also be the first video where Jeff would begin to showcase the more high-pitched voice.
I don't have 3-minute ads every 10 minutes, do I, Chad? Chad, y'all getting 3-minute ads every 10 minutes?
Trademark, with him giving a little monologue mid-song dissing his ops, particularly TYMB. Jeff would then begin rapping how his mum prays every day that he makes it back home, but he tells her that he's okay because he's the one doing all the killing, before flipping the script Lil Durk style as he announces how this is all fake and just a song, the insinuation of course being that this is really not just a song. The music video then ends with a scene of JB, Jeff and Vert calling J Boogie in prison.
Free those boys, we them boys, man. Folks on the way.
Free J Boogie, man.
Free J Boogie the camera. Pain. Free Boogie, man.
But coming into 2023, Jeff would keep dropping new music with videos like the song N-Words B12 on March the 23rd, as well as the song Big 3 on April the 3rd, together with Q50 and another Bloodhound rapper, Slimito. In both music videos, Jeff can be seen surrounded by the Bloodhounds, including this time also his cousin Z Money, who is now playing the role of background character whilst giving Jeff all the limelight, as he once again continues to portray his image of a killer, insinuating on N-Words B12 how he'll see people that he's killed in hell. Unfortunately, as these music videos dropped, a tragedy had already stricken Jeff and the Bloodhounds that would completely change the alliances in the area, and ultimately cause the downfall of Lil Jeff. A few years before, in 2020, a bunch of rappers from the 0679 alliance of Trap City and Drill City, including RB Tasky, Lil Cap, Vert and Mooka, will drop a music video for their song titled On Fire. The music video, which was filmed and released by AMF Visuals, who would eventually also become Lil Jeff's manager, is now interestingly unlisted. The music video begins with one of the most random cameos in perhaps all of drill history, with the camera showing King Von's sister, Kayla B, and the late Texas rapper Enchanting, who would sadly pass away in 2024, with both of them hanging out in Trap City.
How do all these niggas know each other?
The video also shows guys like Vert hanging out in Trap City, like on the corner of 66th Street, aka.
They said that was in
Trap City, bro. This down the street from O Block, gang.
Is it actually?
You acting like, bro? Yes, this shit is down, bro. This shit is right next.
Okay, so what is Enchanting doing over there?
I don't know.
Why they saying Kayla a smut? You don't know Kayla. Fuck.
Kayla B?
Yeah.
Nah, motherfucker say she is going though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Marquette Road and Rhodes Avenue, while the rapper Mooka raps a bar about how the alliance between Trap City or Chris World and Drill City would never divide. Indeed, coming into 2023, the alliance between Drill City, Trap City and Chris World, aka 06679, had lasted for over a decade, with these sets never having any larger qualms during this period. Unfortunately, in 2023, this alliance would finally come crashing down, with one murder shrouded in mystery changing the relationship between these sets irreversibly. On the 7th of February 2023, JB Bin Laden would tweet a cryptic message saying how tables turn, bridges burn, but it is what it is. JB's tweet really could have been about just anything, but what would happen only a month later would certainly make this tweet seem ominous in hindsight, as on the 16th of March 2023, at about 2 p.m, Jeff's cousin Z Money, aka Zaire Nelson, was sitting in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street near the intersection of 79th and Kimbark. This location being in the Avalon Park neighborhood, about 0.6 miles east from the main intersection of the Bloodhounds on 79th and Maryland, which is in the Chatham neighborhood. There, another vehicle would reportedly approached Z-Money's car in a parking lot of a dry cleaners. Someone from inside that car began opening fire, hitting Z-Money multiple times. Z-Money would be taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he would unfortunately be pronounced dead. Chi-Town crime chasers would later arrive at the scene to film the aftermath of the shooting, showing the police combing through the scene with numerous shell markers left on the ground. In the comments of the video, Q50's mum would react to the footage, clearly personally affected by the death of Z-Money, and the loss of Z-Money would imagined Z-Money's death was an even greater loss for his family. In December 2023, a non-profit journalism project called The Trace, which investigates gun violence in America, would actually write a story about Z-Money, aka Zaire. And in the piece, they would interview his mother. In this truly heartbreaking piece of journalism, the mother explains how Z-Money had been dropped off at the hospital, but according to a doctor, he had been dead on arrival, having been shot over 29 times.
Damn! The nigga got shot over 29 times? God damn. R.I.P. chat. Bro, 29 times? Bro, that's like... Bro, that's 2 whole clips, gang. What the fuck?
Mother were old friends from Trap City who had allegedly backdoored Z-Money. At the time of the shooting, Z-Money's death would be posted in Reddit's drill community Chiracology, but the speculation about the reasons behind his death would only truly begin after Lil Jeff began making noise in the drill scene, with some claiming that the killing was actually all the result of a girl and a stolen gun, while others completely denied that any backdoor situation or setup had even taken place. However, the case would seemingly get some clarity in July 2024 when members of Trap City, including Trap City Rob, Burt's former good friend Tero, also a rapper, and
bro,
OTF
niggas
Black,
don't really
actually
be
a
like,
friend of Lil Durk and Trap City OG.
Chat, do niggas really be using them type of artilleries on drills like a drum? You're not really carrying a drum on a drill, right? Chat, right? What vid is this? Story of Lil Jeff.
All right. Niggas are taking drums on drills, gang.
Drums?
Bro, if a nigga has
listen, extended, okay, yes, extended, but drums?
Bro, right, you are, I ain't gonna lie, you marketing.
I might be marketing gang.
Would give an interview to the Chicago YouTuber X-Man Rico where they would insinuate that the relationship between Trap City and Drill City had actually gone sour over a stolen chain.
Cause the way Reddit, this is why I want the clip too. They say his dad from down here, Big J or something like that. Big J.
Anybody you got?
Also, his daddy is from down here.
Yeah, fuck used to hang with them.
Yo, A2, thank you for the sub. Exclamation point sub. How to construct the stream.
Okay, the Bloodhounds, y'all was cool.
Everybody that got a. That was my homie. He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my homie chain.
Who was that? South J?
Nah, brother.
One of the other guys.
This one of the other. This other one.
Folks letting him wear the J. He come back like he got into a high speed with 12. Line saying he lost it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they look. You know?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? You know, Jake Boogie, like
Jake
like
Boogie.
under us, that's like shorty. Like, I was in the field and this did me. Like this little Jeff brother, like on daddy. I don't know how this gonna play out.
They say he ain't claiming the hood still.
But he Trap City.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
from.
That's all weird, bro.
And you over Saturday night blood. Like you can't. But we already know Trap City and Drill City was the same. Bucky and Water. Like that's our family.
Yeah.
So that chain incident really split it up? Or was it something else before then?
It was a chain. It was a chain, man. They tried to steal a chain. He ain't take it. No, I ain't trying to limit his image. You know what I'm saying? He did
I
not
just
take
feel like
that chain, bro.
when it came to like when you on some real, because you know we don't just move on situations. So we just feel like a lot of feel like it was just dump the chain on my shoulder. Like a from our hood being free, let them away on chain. Who does that?
We may never know exactly what took place, but what does seem clear is that following Z-Money's death, the Bloodhounds would cut all ties to their old friends around Trap City and Chris World. And as Jeff would rap in his feature on another Bloodhound rapper, Hotheads, aka Tank Montana's song, Still Walking, released in November 2023, losing his cousin would also make him lose his mind, with Jeff's focus from that point onwards seemingly being one thing and one thing alone, a get back that he would allegedly get during the summer of 2023.
What is this, chat? Body number 2? Or no, 3 technically. Shit.
When it comes to Lil Jeff and his alleged bodies, the rumors and theories tend to range from the absurd, suggesting that he's truly a demon catching all of these bodies, to pretty much complete denial that he ever killed anyone at all. But there's no doubt to me that Jeff was really in these streets though, with several videos.
Someone rated? I missed it? Who rated? I missed it? Nigga, nobody read his chat, bro.
Circulating on Q50's Instagram years later, showing that by 2024, Lil Jeff was indeed a hardened gangster riding around the city, constantly strapped with guns, ready to kill at a moment's notice. However, it would seemingly be a process of several years before he would become the hardened gang member he was known as today. In one of the earliest YouTube videos covering Jeff's alleged bodies, his rumored murder spree stretches all the way back to September 2014, with his first alleged body supposedly being an 18-year-old who went by the name Mally Marl, real name Kamal Burton, who was allegedly affiliated with the A-Tray mob. Although the murder itself would take place in the far south side in the Old Geld Gardens community, at the time, Jeff would have barely been a 12-year-old boy, seemingly gifted in basketball. He would have been spending most of his days training for a career in the sport. Also, according to a CPD spokesperson, Marl was approached by two men who then opened fire. The idea of a scrawny 12-year-old Jeff being mistaken for a grown man in this case sounding pretty unlikely. But for further context, even Jeff's own brother Boogie would have still only been 16 years old at the time of Marl's murder, albeit he would arguably always look older than his age. In more time, we'll likely learn much more about Jeff and his younger years as things come out, but when it comes to his deeds in the streets, it's likely much more sensible to take his own account of his childhood seriously. As he would recount in his DJU interview, Jeff would allegedly truly get in the streets quite late in his life, around 2020, this being his last year in high school and graduation.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18.
Chad, the way these niggas be looking at something, they be looking like they be off every drug in the book.
That Jeff's childhood was normal by any of broader society standards, as Jeff would also open up to DJU, saying that his father was not in his life growing up, as he too, quote-unquote, stood on business. This perhaps being a reference to Jeffrey Harris Sr.'s alleged time in the streets with the 068 C block.
Let's say back then he went around.
Says acting weird as shit.
Are you wearing your chain around Jeff if he said let's do a stream? Yeah, I'm gonna have security.
He doing what he do.
So how did that affect you back then though? Not having pops around.
OG stood on business, so you know, that shit didn't matter for real.
But moreover, as we know now, Jeff's big brother Jay Boogie has clearly been in the streets since at least the
Bro, I'm not lying, gang. I'm not. I would. I would. Bro, you gotta understand, it's my home. You feel me? I know, yo. I really want to go. Can you show guns on Twitch?
Oh, no.
You can, Chad, right? I really want to show you what we just got. I ain't gonna lie. I really want to show you what we just got. We really just got some crazy shit.
Missed you broke me going.
I did it. You can. Can you, chat? I don't know. Hold on. Just can't aim it at the camera. All right, baby, I got you. Hold on. I'll be back. Yo, you in here? Yo, chat. This right here, I'm not pointing it. I'm not pointing it. You feel me? But yo, this right here, chat.
Ooh, Rat, I like that.
Yo, listen, yo, Flex. This right here, wait till I do my next gun range stream. It's gonna be lit.
What that bitch take?
What it take, chat?
762?
What it take, chat?
556.
What it take, chat?
556, okay.
Come on, man. Like, yo, like, when next time I do a gun range stream, chat, yeah, we gonna have fun. You feel me? Let me put it back though. I'll be back. Next time I do a gun range stream, we gonna have fun. You feel me? Chat, they said we good as long as we don't point it, chat. We're good. I didn't point it in. It didn't even have to clip in. It wasn't loaded nothing. We're good. No worries, Chad. We are good. You feel me? Imagine getting drilled by annoying TV. What is that supposed to mean? Alright. Let's finish the shit.
The early 2010s, which would seemingly affect Jeff's life and his experiences growing up significantly.
And I'm doing that. I've been seeing my whole life, you know what I'm saying? I told you I got an older brother. So this ain't nothing new for real. It's the same shit I've been seeing. Everything I was doing, I saw.
One of these significant moments in the young Jeff's life would of course be witnessing the murder of Kenny Mack. Whilst another incident that affected Jeff growing up was his family house getting shot up with one of the bullets, according to Jeff, whizzing by right next to his head.
So can you tell us like who introduced you to the street life?
My brother.
Your older brother, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was he showing you the ropes?
Let me tell you, my crib got shot up when I was like 14. I was some stupid ass. The bullet that flew like right past my face. They had shot the back and the front. Then they blew the car and set that on fire. It was busting. I ain't gonna lie, it was going on. That almost hit me, though. See what I'm saying, though? Shit like that. That play a part. All type of. Just seeing that shit every day. I was seeing it every day, you know what I'm saying? Like everything I was seeing that shit all the time. Just
damn,
like
at 14?
It just, I'm a part of it.
I see how this shit is a never-ending cycle, bro. These niggas be experiencing trauma, bro.
The drill scene
this shit is real. Yo, Chad, this is real trauma, gang.
Of his environment, and that environment being one of the most dangerous in the whole of Chicago during the 2010s and beyond. When it comes to Jeff's time in the streets after 2020, when he supposedly got involved with the Bloodhounds heavy through his brother, there's still no shortage of alleged victims that are commonly or less commonly attributed to his supposed double-digit body count, with even the YouTuber who had originally published one of the first supposed body lists of Jeff spinning back with a new video sometime later, this time including only names post-2020. One of the more obscure names on this list of people that Lil Jeff allegedly took the lives of was an alleged member of the crew Hit Squad by the name of Lil Gutter, real name Ronnie L. Sistruk Jr., who would lose his life in 2021 around the same time when the young Bloodhounds, such as Vert and Jeff, would allegedly be responsible for the deaths of the A-Tray members Clay and crew, with Gutter being shot down on the 13th of May 2021, eerily exactly 1 month after the murder of crew on the 13th of April. Gutter would be caught on the 700 block of 79th Street, this location being a mere 4 minutes walk from the intersection of 79th and Merrill, one of the main spots that Jeff and other Bloodhound members have claimed in their music videos. However, when it comes to any actual proof that Jeff or the Bloodhounds were behind this murder, the evidence seems to be slim to none, with this particular case further muddled by the fact that Hit Squad would have another, much more known member called Gutter too, who would unfortunately also end up losing his life, in this case in 2015, allegedly by the Bloodhound affiliated set MTV 079, whose members have commonly dissed this Gutter over the years too. Another less commonly heard name in this YouTuber's list is an alleged member of the Evans mob called Black, real name Roger Lewis, who was a 33-year-old OG of his block, shot dead in a drive-by whilst driving in March 2022. The only problem with this theory is that Black's alleged killer was in fact charged already the following month, in April 2022, and is now serving his sentence for the murder. Also, why don't they be on shit? Jeff would end up losing someone seemingly very close to him, a man named Jamarian Loston, better known in the streets as J-Mo, who was allegedly part of the 06679 Alliance. There are some rumors that claim that it was this murder that motivated Jeff to catch his first body as revenge, this victim getting allegedly caught outside of a corner store or gas station, as Jeff and other Bloodhounds have implied in several songs. Later on, there would also be some rumors surfacing online that Jeff was supposedly even carrying out contract killings all the way in Milwaukee, with one Chiracologist dropping a picture in the comments of Jeff hanging out with some alleged local gang members from Milwaukee, with this picture.
So this nigga was drilling niggas out of state for money? This nigga was a hitman. They can't handle all this shit at once, bro. But I mean, I'm not a police officer, so don't get me wrong. But like, how long does it take to really solve a murder? Because what it seems like to the internet is maybe like 30 days, gang, like a month. You feel me? Like, look how long they took for Fulio. Look how long they took for certain people. You know what I'm saying? It really take like 30, like, you feel me, like a month. Murder for hire? Nah, murder for hire is crazy.
Being from a music video of the rappers Ghost, 53206, Super Throwed Feifei, and K-Rax called Plenty Missed Calls, released in July 2023. This outfit actually being the very same one that Jeff is wearing in his music video for the song N-Words B12, released on March 2023. In fact, even now, K-Rax still seemingly has Jeff as his profile picture on Instagram, which he likely changed following Jeff's death. Jeff and the other Bloodhounds would also later make several references to doing contract killings and to Milwaukee, with JB Bin Laden rapping in the song Run But Can't Hide that also features Lil Jeff how the Bloodhounds have blood for hire, meaning that they're selling hits too. Whilst Jeff himself would also rap in the song LA Freestyle how someone tripped and got
he ran but tripped and got fucked up, being the Milwaukee like I'm a buck.
Killed, and how he's in Milwaukee like the NBA team, the Milwaukee Bucks. Q52 would claim in the leaked song BH4L how people know that he has bodies from state to state and that he's clapping people in Milwaukee for money. However, while some people on Reddit swear that this is a fact, there seems to be very little actual proof to back up these claims, and it appears that when it comes to the more plausible rumors, these will begin not long after the death of Z Money in March 2023, with one of the first alleged victims of Jeff following Z Money's murder being a young man called Lil Pooh, real name Pierre Boozer Jr., who hailed from Jeff's old stomping grounds, being allegedly part of the Flipside set who repped the 93rd Street. However, Pooh was seemingly well affiliated in the East Side, with his brother allegedly being part of the 95 mob located in the Princeton Park
Flex,
neighborhood.
I ain't gonna lie, Flex says, or anybody who's from Chicago, do niggas really like? Do niggas in Chicago be capping on bodies, bro? Like, will a nigga call a nigga out for some shit? Because I ain't gonna lie, 11 bodies just sounds crazy to me. Like, you feel me? Like, I ain't gonna lie, Chad. That just sounds crazy. Do you think these niggas be boosting their kills? Like, on some real shit, Chad. You think these niggas be boosting their shit?
While Pooh was also, according to some, allegedly affiliated with none other than Trap City, with him even having 067 in his Instagram profile name. However, there's very little to be shown about his affiliations on his social media. To the contrary, there's more to be shown about Pooh's connection with the Bloodhounds, although the reason behind these connections could be either affiliation or rivalry. Whatever the case, at the time of his death, Pooh was seemingly living far away from Flipside, Trap City, or Drill City, all the way outside of the borders of Chicago on the 1800 block of 223rd Street in the community of Sauk Village. There, on the 9th of April 2023, a few weeks after the death of Z Money, police would respond to reports of shots fired and find an unresponsive Pooh laying on the front lawn of his home with multiple gunshot wounds, and his death would soon be ruled a homicide. Unfortunately, it seems that from the beginning, the police had very little to go on to solve Pooh's murder, and they would end up reaching out to the public in the hope that they would receive some clues or witnesses might step forward, but these clues would never seemingly materialize, and this murder remains unsolved. However, in this case, there are several examples of Lil Jeff in the suburbs responsibility for Pooh's murder. For example, on the 9th of April,
what the fuck is going on?
French Chicago drill aficionado Squid Ape would make a tribute post to Pooh on his Instagram, which would quickly gather numerous comments of people laughing at his death, which one commenter would ask what he had done to invoke such a reaction, to which Lil Jeff himself would comment saying that Pooh had been dissing Z Money. Then, a few days before Jeff's death, an unreleased song of him was leaked online, the song having a bar where Jeff seemingly describes Pooh's death, saying how Pooh had dissed Z Money and now he's gone, before describing someone waiting for him to come home whilst laying in the grass outside his house. This bar seemingly describing exactly what might have taken place before Pooh's murder. On Reddit, one commenter would point out how Jeff had been hanging out with members from Flipside not long before his death, whilst guessing that this is why the song was never officially released at the time. However, on Jeff's posthumous album Stepping in Blood, this song is indeed included with the title In Your Home. But what makes the matter even more confusing is the fact that one of Pooh's good friends from Flipside would seemingly post an earnest tribute to Jeff following his death. And to make matters even more complicated, Jeff by no means wasn't the only one dissing Pooh after his death. Only a few days before the murder of Pooh, a young man would be killed in the community of Park Forest during an altercation at a house party. Park Forest being only a short drive away from Pooh's Sauk Village is where Star Bands is from. The killed man was not just anyone, but an actual blood brother of the infamous rapper and Chicago drill, Wooski, originally from the STL EBT set. His brother, who was called Lowski, real name Ladarius Williams, allegedly belonged to a set called the E-Block, and also apparently was part of a clique called Haddyway, which, much like the Bloodhounds, allegedly consists of members from a few different sets and is named after a boy called Haddy, who was killed in 2016. This clique having been in a deadly war with JB Bin Laden's 400 East set for years. As the rumor would be, Pooh had allegedly had something to do with Lowski's death, and following Pooh's death, the members of the Haddyway would also seemingly claim to have been behind his murder. Meanwhile, following Jeff's death, Pooh's brother would rejoice on social media, laughing at how everyone who had dissed his brother had ended
on what?